Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing reasons why you're not losing fat. So why you should listen to me? Well, I've actually lost 100 pounds of fat since 2023 and I finally have a protocol that actually worked for me. I lost 55 pounds of fat in less than 6 months and now I'm actually building muscle. So congratulations to you. You've chosen to click on the unedited video guide that instead of all the short form content about weight loss. So really, respect to you. If you really want to have this fully understand and grasp it, then I recommend putting it on full screens and listen very close attention. So my promise to you is that I'll just literally walk you through everything that actually worked for me because there's a lot of contradiction things about weight loss, but here were 5 things that actually genuinely felt a difference on the first night. So who am I? Well, my name is Roy, and my current mission is really just trying to help Hispanic men to lose fat because I pretty much experienced that life where I was obese and I had so many bad negative effects on my life, and I went out of that hole. And now I want to share my gift to help you get out of that hole as well. Because life is so much funner and much more enjoyable when you actually lose the amount of fat that you've already accumulated for many, many years. So I'm basically just learning out loud as long as I go on my journey. I've been doing this for 3+ years and now I actually use what's useful and letting go of the rest. So subscribe to this channel if you want to have guys like these on your homepage instead of the suboptimal ways about fat loss. So also quick plug, you right now if you want to lose weight faster, there's actually a 2-hour course in the video where I talk to you about weight loss and everything. No pressure though, just something to let you know. So here's what we're going to be discussing is about 5 things that I did, which is going to be the diet, your belief slash identity, really not making it fun, insulin resistance, and gut microbiome. So we're going to be discussing. So right now we're going to be discussing about diet. So here's how we're going to talk about it. There are diets out there in the world, a bajillion diets out there, right? You have the carnivore, keto, mesitarian, intermittent fasting, high carb, low carb. Anyways, all I'm gonna let you know that all of those are just certain type of templates for you to go, right? But this is what ultimately helped me. You hear things where you're trying to lose weight and people are telling you have all your intake for higher carbs. And then for the other people that are, then you have other people that are saying that, oh, you should, if you're trying to lose weight, go for less carbs. But the thing is that there is a preset for who you are. That is you having to have lesser carbs. That's literally where I recommend, right? So this is what I'm telling you. People who have higher carbs are more the people who are athletic. Those are the people because they use those carbs. They use those carbs for those energies. So what you are doing is that you live such a sedentary lifestyle that you need to be going for a lesser carb diet. Right now, the American Hispanic food that we eat are very heavily carb, and with that being said, they're also fried with a bunch of seed oils. So that's on top of the amount of calories that you're eating that are going to consume your body for the whole day. So it's very easy to overeat, to keep it simple. You know the things that are very heavy carbs, especially if you're Hispanic out there. We're always eating gorditas, quesadillas, tortas, sopes. These are really heavily carb. I would only recommend eating soups that are from Hispanic or anything with maximizing more of the protein than the bread, right? There's also this thing where I don't know why we have it, but usually every Hispanic always in the morning consumes bun in the morning, which is totally so bad for you because not only you're going to be spiking your insulin, but you're more likely going to achieve fat gain within that because you're technically shooting yourself in the foot. I also need to tell you that man-made food that you see on the grocery store aisles in the middle sections, they have 100+ ingredients, right? So that being said, when having those 100 ingredients, your body is officially being kind of psyoped, and there's just 100 million ingredients to trigger the right palate, trigger the right dopamine hit, and make you continue going more, right? They get you with the pricing with the $2 pastry, then it's also, you know, then they look at you with the macros and they tell you that, oh, it has a significant amount of protein or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all just fucking marketing. I would recommend to remove any foods from your palate that have over more than 3 single ingredient foods. So what I mean by single ingredient foods, I'm more talking about ground beef, chicken, tuna, salmon, steaks, eggs, avocado. This is going to be like anything like that. I'm telling you is go on the less carb, or more likely minimize it or eliminate it officially, and go to eating more fats and more proteins. These are going to be the best ways for you to be able to effectively not have constant hunger cravings, make you way more fuller throughout the day, and make you less likely to binge eat and actually make you lose fat. To make it more simple, when you see a piece of bread, right? Right. This is gonna spike insulin, which we will get into that sooner, which ultimately is bad. Why? Because when insulin is spiking, fat gain is obtained. You're gonna just get nothing but fat. That's literally what it does. So what we're doing is when we have the avocado or the steak, we're increasing leptin, which we will get into that easier, which if we increase leptin, hormones are going to be functioning properly, and then that being said, fullness will be activated, which means no more overeating. It's really hard, guys. All right? So, just remember that. And so what diet should you be on? I would recommend going on just all fats slash protein. So that could be either that could be either steaks, any animal proteins. That could be using cooking with butter instead of seed oils or cooking spray. That could also be with nuts, not legumes, nuts, as well as eating a lot of avocado, because what you're doing is trying to spike up leptin. Leptin is going to be the best way for you to get you into that fullness thing and not get you to overeat. Just remember that. When you feel that sensation of your fullness, you'll actually feel it. Not the bloatness, not the bloatness feeling, because there's a difference between the bloatness and the feeling. Bloatness, your stomach is just bulging out. With leptin, you don't feel bloated. You're never gonna feel bloatness when you have leptin. Okay? So just remember that, okay? So the next thing is going to be your belief slash identity. This is going to be more of the crucial aspects of when going to fat loss. You don't right now you're fat and you're looking at this video that you're trying to figure out ways to make you lose the fat because you're in this situation of you're kind of, to make it more simple, you see yourself as this person, right? Or you're gonna just draw a fat person, right? This is what you see yourself, right? But right now, since you're looking at these videos and learning how to actually learn to lose weight, you are eventually trying to become this man, right? You're in the transitioning of becoming the fat man. You see how he has a tapered waist, this one doesn't, right? You're trying to be this one guy, which is a good thing. Because of the actions of what the fat person does is they're mirror talking to themselves, telling themselves that they're fat, that they're ugly, that they're destined to be fat. Pull your shirt and try to make sure you're not fat, or the gut sucking to make sure whenever you're taking photos, you're trying to look skinny. You are portraying an image of the world that you are a fat person, right? So what I'm telling you this is that you should start using affirmations like saying, I'm an athlete, I'm gonna have a six pack, I'm going to have this physique, right? You're going to also use visualizations too, because this is going to help you for becoming how it feels to be that athletic person, being that fit person, being that person that's going to be the X amount of weight or whatever, which is a really good helpful because your brain and your nervous system doesn't really know what's real or not. So that being said, if you use visualizations, it would actually activate the feeling of you becoming that person, and your brain will more likely will try to trigger that same emotion felt within being the fit person. And accountability too, this is really good when it comes to tracking the ways. So this could be like a habit tracker. Habit tracker, you could just put it on your wall and count how many days and just check off the mark how many times you went to the gym or to eat healthy or not eating the calorie surplus. This is that, right? Or having a picture of your dream physique on the wall, putting it on a wallpaper too, finding people that you want to become. This is a really good way for you to continue to be able to lose the weight because when you look at that fit person, you're gonna be looking at yourself. You're like, let's say if you had a cheeseburger, you just go on your phone, right, and you start seeing the fit person. You're gonna look at that cheeseburger and be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life, right? So the accountability does really help if you really do try to get into those aspects, right? And then like you may not even believe it because there are a lot of things called like the self-sabotaging actions because right now since you're transitioning to this aspect, your body doesn't really know your body doesn't like discomfort, right? It does not like that at all because it takes effort, it takes energy to make you become that new person, right? So this self-sabotaging actions could be like you have to eat 3 meals a day because you read it from a book or something, like a random belief, or self-convincing yourself that you're like, oh, I deserve that cheeseburger because I worked out today. Stressed or you feel anxious and you just need something to be able to consume for you to be healthy because you were bullied, you were traumatized, anything. These are the things that are actually not going to help. These things are going to actually self-sabotage your actions for you to be able to effectively become that fit person. So let me ask you something. What does your fit slash weight loss person do? Right? And I love doing this all the time because this really, really does help me. So let's think about it. We'll put fat right here, and then we'll do a fit person over here. Right? So let's actually start with the fat person because I want you to get the idea for this. If I wanted to become fat, what would I do? I would probably cut out the gym. So no, oh Jesus. Okay, so no gym, no water. Let me see. Eat junk foods. Sedentary lifestyle. Right. So that being said, you could go on and go on and go on for whatever you want to do with becoming a fat person. So this is the same concept as what will you do as a fit person? Okay, well I'm thinking they go to the gym. It's like I'll do cardio, right? They do they track their calories. They track calories. They eat healthy food, you know? What else? They sleep on time. They're very disciplined. They're very confident. There's a lot of things that could be to help you become this one person. So once you find that one person of who you want to become, this is where you need to be. So find the ideas of identity, the belief system, the how does this one person think, how does this person live their day-to-day life, and you're gonna eventually become that person because you wrote it down. Because you know exactly what a fit person does. Because you have a self-image of yourself to become this one person. And that one person needs to know what it needs to become from the actions that you're going to do, right? Next is going to be not making it fun. I really want to tell you and emphasize this that weight loss isn't meant to be hard. It's there are like a lot of tiny habits that get you that should feel very easy. Like being in the same aspect, you became fat because of the tiny habits that created. You kind of didn't even notice. Like you did not notice that it was like noticeable if that makes sense. Like the tiny habits of it. You going to eating that cheeseburger, you eating that pizza, you eating that cookies, going out with your family, staying up late, drinking alcohol. These are things that are like were fun to you. Exactly. So these are little tiny habits that don't really show affection through the next day, but throughout spreading out the whole time, you are more likely going to see the big effects, the compound effect, if that makes sense. We need to make sure with the identity and the belief systems that you had with the person that you want to become is going to be correlated to the things that you're going to be doing that to make it fun. Because look, you are transitioning to this person and it shouldn't be that difficult, right? The person that's doing these small habits is that person. This is their life. This is they're living the life, if that makes sense. So the tiny habits that you should be doing should be correlating to the things that you should be making in that fit person. So like it could be, buying a scale or checking their calories or eating more protein, sleeping in more than rather than staying up late. These little habits are going to be able to get you into that physique and ultimately become that new identity. So the fun habits that I like to do are like buying gym clothes, working out with friends all the time, buying supplements. Be careful with that. There's certain ones, but I rather you buy some supplement that doesn't work rather than buying some fucking McDonald's or something with the same amount of money, or cooking new recipes that are based on the foods that you want to cook. Because there's a lot of recipes out there in the world, and they can help you be able to lose weight fat effectively. It's just the tiny habits that you're doing are going to be making you fat. But if you make tiny habits like you're doing right now, like learning, being able to implement the things that you need to be doing, maximize eating protein, sleeping correctly, exercising every day, not to the extreme, but fit, it would make you more fit because you're leading yourself to do that. So I need to ask you something. What is something that you feel motivated to do? Right? This is the things of like going to the gym. If you don't like it, why don't you like it? Is there a way to make you feel motivated to do it, feel fun to do it, right? Because you don't like the gym that you like to go to? Is it because you don't know the workout to go to? Is it because you don't have any friends to go to? Why do you not like healthy food? Because it tastes nasty? Is there a way to make it taste good? Why don't I like drinking water? Is it because of the taste? Is there a certain brand that you were willing to take? What if you take electrolytes with it? What if you buy a different type of water supply? What if you buy a tracker water bottle? These are things that feel motivated for you because it keeps you, these little habits that are going to get you more linked towards your goal of becoming a fat loss person. I'm telling you where you should stop forcing discipline and really enjoy the process. You hear it all the fucking time when it comes to the gym is discipline matters, discipline matters, discipline matters. Oh yeah, David Goggins bullshit. If make it stop being a bitch, push. Look, yes, I totally understand that aspect, but you're not fucking David Goggins. You're not some guy who's going to be super disciplined to do it. You can do it. I don't mind it. You can if you want to, because there are moments that I go to the gym and I don't feel like going it, but I just do it because that's just who I am. I'm just a person who goes to the gym, right? But discipline shouldn't be a major factor of your reason of fat loss. You should be enjoying the process. That being said, you are willing to go eat the vegetables rather than eating the pizza. You're excited to go to the gym instead of watching TV. Because right now, I don't really like watching TV. I don't even watch TV. I haven't watched TV in over 3 years, and that shit's so fucking boring to me. I don't like it. I rather go out to the gym and hit a PR rather than sitting home and eating popcorn and watching a movie. Like I don't like doing that, right? So when you feel good because you're motivated to do the things that you want to do, you will show up way more stronger, right? The moment that you have discipline, you're just there to just fuck checked off the box and call it a day. But this is what discipline in a simple form is. It's pretty much pushing through low energy. It's those moments where you're like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to eat healthy today. This food is sickening. I don't feel like going. That's where you need to have discipline. That's where you need to have discipline as an add-on, if that makes sense. But ultimately, you need to be feeling motivated all the time because motivation is acting on your excitement. That means you are willing to go to the extreme by going to the gym, by eating healthy, by living the life, by becoming this athletic person. Because the more motivation you have every single day, the more likelihood that you're going to be able to do the healthier actions much more easier. what I'm telling you this is fill your days with things that really spark your energy. Find things that you like that make you want to lose weight. People go on certain diets and they usually do a crash diet where they completely cut down their calories and expect them to lose weight, but it's miserable. Who the fuck wants to eat 1,000 calories a day? And what is that? There was a moment where I was eating a military diet because I wanted to lose 10 pounds in 1 month or in 1 week. But, dude, like, felt so fucking ass. I was low energy. I was tired all the fucking time. I was hungry. I did not like it. And I just ultimately did not like it. I was destined to be fucking fat for the rest of my life. Literally. So, I swear, that whole military diet is so crazy because it was like I only ate was like some cheesecake, some crackers, and some broccoli and call it a day. Like, brother, that's not how a good way to eat, right? But now I'm actually eating food that I actually enjoy every single day, and it's large portions, and I'm still losing weight. Like today, I lost 2 pounds of fat because I ate back my normal diet. Examples could be fun recipes that you find on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, doesn't really matter. Have a caffeine kick, but be really careful with this. I find it that if you have caffeine throughout the day and mostly go into it every single day, you start to develop a addiction, which isn't that bad, but I really start emphasizing not really going to the extreme. Pick non-stim if that is your pick non-stim because I just personally like it. Though if you depending on your age and everything, if you're willing to just go through the caffeine, I'll tell you this is that the later the days that you go, I would say after 3 p.m. and you're consuming caffeine, this will affect your sleep, and that sleep is really crucial when you're actually trying to lose fat. Because if you disturb your sleep, you won't be able to lose fat effectively. Another thing is, I have a bike, I have a motorcycle, and I love going to the gym with my motorcycle because it just makes me feel fucking masculine and it makes me feel fun. It's just amazing. You're a guy on a fucking bike riding to the gym, right? It's just like so fucking fun because you go to the gym while riding the bike and you work out and you're coming back from the gym. That's like I'm like splurging on dopamine, on craziness. And then other stuff is workout gear. This could be like straps. This could be a dip belt. This could be, you know, sunglasses for you doing cardio, new trainers. These things need to be like, oh wow, these little add-ons that happen in your life are making the weight loss way much funner and easier, right? Next is going to be insulin resistance. So there are really two types of hormones that you really need to focus on. There's three when you look on the internet, but the two are the ones that you really need to focus on, which is going to be insulin and leptin, right? So what I'm going to tell you this is you right now have insulin resistance and you can't really feel it the moment that you eat the food. You're going to feel it literally after you finish the food, and then yet this is what happens when you have insulin spikes. So you're going to have bloatness, you're going to have brain fog, you're going to feel sluggish, and you're always going to feel tired. This is why I need you to minimize the carbs, because carbs are going to be the only way to spike that insulin. So that is like pasta, rice, granola, fucking Pop-Tarts, pizza. These are foods that are going to more likely lead you into this aspect. And when you eat them, you don't feel it all right away. But after you just finish that whole fucking pizza, you yet feel fucking tired and you don't want to do anything, right? And that's going to leave you to less calorie burning and making you feel like you are going to gain more weight the next day, and then you're going to feel terrible and self-sabotaging actions, and it goes down to a bad momentum cycle. So this is where I'm here to tell you to help your body to wake up leptin. The leptin is the hormone that makes you feel fuller. What I mean by fuller, it means that you cannot eat food anymore. The sensation of you trying to eat a lot of fucking food and you continue to still eat more and more and more and more, that is the symptoms of high insulin. That being said, if you spike leptin, you are going to feel full to the point where your body literally, every time you eat like some ground beef or something like that, you physically won't be able to eat it because your body's like, stop eating, stop eating, stop eating. So really spike leptin is to add good fats. That is the nuts. That is the avocado. That is sometimes the full-fat Greek yogurt. That is the Colby Jack cheese, but not too much. This is going to be able to activate leptin, which makes you feel fuller and makes you not eat as much. You don't have to eat a lot for you to be able to lose the fat. You know the calories in, calories out method. You know to eat less, move more. That simply breaks it down to that simple aspect. But we're not going to get into that. We don't know how to do that. So we're going to get into this aspect of eating more fats and more protein. So really do destroy the belief, because I used to have this belief where fats were literally the enemy. I thought fats were the reason why fat, because I mean, fat, if you eat it fat, you're going to get fat, right? No. I realized that fat isn't the enemy, and just so I'm telling you to let go of that old belief. Fats are actually there to help you to function your hormones properly, which means that if you have high amounts of fat, that means testosterone is going to be building, and with building with testosterone, testosterone builds muscle. Muscle is has takes more calories to dense, which means you eat more food and you'll be able to burn calories. You see where I'm going with this when it comes to eating more fat. So let me go again with this. Insulin, right? There's insulin. We're going to in, and then we'll have leptin, right? Insulin is always going to be up when you eat significant amount of carbs, right? When insulin is spiked and carbs are being eaten, fat gain is only obtained. That is literally all it does. Every time you eat carbs and that you feel that bloatness feeling, you're just gonna get fat, because the reason why is that this hormone is really there for saving it for rainy days. Because yes, we live in the world where we could drive 10 minutes to go get a fucking food and come back and eat. But back then we're essentially animals still. We're still biologically like animals. So insulin was really there just to keep us surviving through the next couple of days until we find actual food like a boar or like a cow or anything like that, right? This is why leptin exists. Because when leptin exists, you're gonna feel fuller longer, and yet you won't you won't feel the symptoms of high insulin. So that would be with the bloatness, that would be with the lethargic feeling, that would be with the tiredness, that would be with the fat storage, you know. You won't get that because when you have leptin high, you actually feel more energized, fuller. What else? Better clarity. You have mental clarity, and then, but more focus. So, what happens if you eat carbs and protein at the same time? Well, I'll tell you this. When insulin is high, that means leptin is low. None of them, both of them can't go up. One always has to power the other. Both of them can never be up. Never. That won't happen. One will always overpower the other. And so, when you feel leptin is trying to make you feel fuller. But every time you spike insulin, leptin is going to go down. So it's always going to be up and down. And that moment of like you eating more protein and carbs, you feel hungry but you want to eat more and you're not. That's a sign of insulin actually spiking much more, because it's like it's trying to trigger the fullness, but every time you're consuming those type of carbs, it's blocking or suppressing the signal of you to be able to eat more proteins. So that's why I'm telling you to eat more proteins, because the more protein you eat, the more the leptin hormone is going to be activated. So eat more meat, guys. Eat more meat. I'm telling you right now, this actually was the reason why it helped me, because I was obliterating meat. Because this is not, and I don't feel bloated. I don't feel tired. I still continue my day, and I feel way more stronger when I had those moments of going to the gym. So please emphasizing eat more meat, right? Because if leptin is high, that means insulin is low, which means no fat storage will be gained. No fat. No fat. Right? So, another thing is you have bad gut microbiome. This is the number one sign of gut microbiome is bloating. That signal of you feeling bloated means that it's an allergic reaction to your gut, right? It's your healthy gut microbiome telling you that this food is not something that I can consume. American food is literally man-made to be triggered like foods of like dopamine or to override the good microbiome to tell you like I can't eat this anymore. And also damages the good gut bacteria. So every time you're eating like that McDonald's cheeseburger, that Snickers bar, and you feel that bloatness, I remember it's an allergic reaction. It's telling you that it's telling you specifically that it cannot consume it, but you are ignoring it by the dopamine hit. And that being said, it suppresses its signal because you're promoting bad gut microbiome, right? You have the two types of kind of bacteria in your stomach, which is the good and bad, right? So when you eat processed food, you are essentially killing the good bacteria and repopulating the bad bacteria. These are the symptoms like sugar craving, extra hungry, thinking healthier food tastes bad, and low energy. So right now you need to really start changing your gut microbiome, right? Your gut microbiome always changes within every 2 weeks. I recommend just whenever you get paid. That's usually when you think about it, or you could start today and within 2 weeks you could have more bad bacteria, and then you could also have good bacteria. So we're trying to promote the healthy good bacteria. So what supports the healthy good bacteria? That would be leafy greens, seeds, yogurt, and berries. Any fermented foods are going to be the only way for you to actually repopulate the good bacteria. Because when you start eating those types of food, you like, let's say you start eating junk food, right? You would want to eat more junk food because the bad bacteria wants that food, right? Those signals, like those certain cravings that you're having, like, oh, I really want a pizza. Oh, I really want that cookie. Oh, I really want this stuff and that. That is essentially saying that your bad gut bacteria wants that certain food because you're craving more of that food, right? But let's say you want to eat a fucking vegetable and you just can't because you're just like, this shit's fucking disgusting. There's like no flavor. There's nothing like that, right? That means you've actually maximized a lot of bad gut bacteria. So how you're gonna do this? Well, it does suck. You're gonna have to eat healthier, but that's a good thing because then you could actually eat healthier foods that you actually enjoy. So if you don't like eating vegetables, trying to find a different way to be able to eat healthier. That can be eating more proteins, more fats, finding ways that make you feel more palatable in your palate. If you start eating well, you'll start actually craving better foods. And you also have to understand that your gut and brain work together. If you starting to have like unhealthy gut, that could actually lead to brain fog, low focus, and anxiety. This is why I'm telling you to really do try to maximize on a good healthy gut microbiome, because if you don't really get yourself a good gut microbiome, it's you are essentially shooting yourself in the foot and making more mistakes than usual because you are trying to eat healthier. That new identity that I'm telling you that you need to become, or that new diet that you're trying to try out, those are going to be ways for you to be able to lose the weight because your gut biome is going to crave those certain types of foods, which makes you more longer to stick to eating those certain foods, right? So, maximizing your gut microbiome, and you'll be able to actually get better food into your stomach. So that's going to be your diet. We went over that about what you need to be eating is more proteins and fats. Believe in identity. Really try to question yourself because the fat person you have right now is being fear of becoming that new person, right? You have to become that new person, which takes a lot of effort and challenges and a lot of fear, but you're ultimately better when you're into that physique, if that makes sense. Like the grass is always greener on the other side. And also try to make it fun. This isn't an uphill battle. You're not supposed to swim upstream. You're supposed to swim downstream. Everything needs to be fun. The tiny habits that you're creating are going to ultimately make a big impact in 6 months from now, right? Understand insulin resistance and insulin and leptin. I'm telling you, this is a really good factor because this will help you to actually pick the certain foods that won't actually really affect you, and you start leaning towards foods that are actually going to be more prone for weight loss. And then the next thing is going to be the bad gut microbiome. If you have a really bad gut microbiome, you're going to be struggling with the cravings of what you're getting, like the junk food, like the McDonald's, the Wendy's, the Burger King, anything like that. If you start eating fermented food or anything that promotes a good gut bacteria, you're more likely going to crave certain good healthy foods. So if you want to lose weight faster, guys, click on the description down below for you to be able to lose it more effectively. Because I actually have a 2 hour plus course to help you through identity, all the way to the workout, all the way to anything that you have any questions about. So if that's just something that you are interested in, please click in the description. But click on this video right here if you want to continue learning more, and drop down that fork and go lift some weights, brother. And I'll see you soon.